Good afternoon. Today we're here with Greg Katikia, CEO of Entra, to discuss the importance and how to ensure that your sales and marketing strategy are in alignment. This is a challenge that faces all organizations, big and small, and as we go through this short yet informative presentation, you'll see some tips to look at your sales and marketing strategy to see if it is in line, and at the end we'll discuss what the benefits are when they are in line. So Greg, you can take it from here.
Thanks, Al. Much appreciated, and thanks to those that are listening online. One of the important things to understand in getting alignment is the roles of marketing and sales. And I always like to use this analogy that marketing is the air war and sales is the ground war. And I think that's important to keep in mind. There's those that are softening up the targets for the invasion, but they're not necessarily winning the war all by themselves. If they could, you wouldn't need one or the other. Sales is the ground war. They're actually where the action takes place with the customer. So understanding that they're separate, different, yet complementary roles is very important. Rule number one, and as Al said, we're just going to go through some quick tips, what we think are the most important elements of that alignment. Rule number one, to measure is to manage. You've got to be able to measure every element in marketing so that you can be held as accountable as sales. Sales is a very easy measurable metric, and that is the sales that they generate, the bookings, the revenue, the cash, whatever it is. But you know when a sale is made, the bell is rung, it's recorded in your financials. Marketing needs to have its set of metrics so that it can be there side by side, playing that separate, equal, complementary role. And that can go to qualified leads. Very important to get that qualified lead definition agreed to, whatever it is, ranking system A, B, C, D, or an appointment, or whatever the metric is, get agreement. Awareness, even though public relations sometimes is looked at as difficult to gain a measurement or quantity on, you can measure your tier 1 releases, your tier 2 releases, your tier 3 releases. You can look at how much ink you're getting versus your competitors. So a lot of different metrics you can go there. Also, analyst presence. Certainly it mentions in top tier industry analysts, Gartner, Forrester, etc., and trade show presence as well. So number of different ways, benchmark, benchmark, benchmark.
One point I want to make here, while at the end of the day everything is tied back to sales, and you should tie the marketing and the leads back to sale, that is its only simplistic measure. You're really going to be selling your marketing efforts short, as well as you're going to be selling the efforts of the company short, because not everything results in a sale in 90 days.
That's right. And so you got to take the sales cycle into account, as Al said, and marketing, just like the Air Force doesn't win a war on its own, marketing doesn't get the sale closed. Sales is a customer, and that means your channel, your sales force is a customer. And so marketing, in terms of their responsibility for alignment, has to treat sales as a customer. The more you win mind share of your customer being a salesperson and their involvement with your set of products, if you're a product manager, or their excitement and enthusiasm about selling for your company, the more enthusiasm and translation, the more they will get out there and do the numbers that it's going to take in order to drive business and drive sales. So treat your sales channel, whether it's direct or indirect, as a customer. The third rule of marketing, close sales, there be no salespeople. That goes back to our point number one. Marketing can't be and shouldn't be valued only by sales revenue. Certainly that's one element, but if you're looking for marketing results directly impacting sales revenue, you may be overinflating its role or deeply disappointed, one or the other. That's why it's important to get that set of metrics that we mentioned in number one completed to show that you have a defined set of metrics that you're meeting, and then that handoff, that all-important handoff to your customer, the salesperson, takes place so that they can then drive business and close business. And getting those two definitions, as you can see, very important as you go from a macro view to a micro view following the sales funnel from suspect to prospect to customer. Rule number 4, marketing is 6 months ahead of sales. Just remember that in particularly tough times like we're in today, in the cost-cutting measure, when you cut something today, you're not going to feel that impact probably in most cases for 120 to 180 days. But it's going to show up, and it's not going to show up immediately. You'll be able to perhaps save the money in 30 days, but the results and the impact is going to happen. The other side of that is also true when you want to hurry up and make something happen in the quarter. Very difficult for marketing to make anything happen within a quarter. Given the light of the sales cycle, whatever that is, it's probably going to be outside of the box of getting an impact in that quarter. So make sure that you put that into context. I think also it's one of the reasons why, and Al and I have discussed this in the past, it's difficult to have a vice president of sales and marketing. Sales is much more focused on that short-term sales cycle, quarterly driven goal. Marketing tends to be in a longer goal time range, and one sacrifices the other if they're put under the same person. That's just one issue with that role, but it points to one of the issues of a combined vice president of sales and marketing.
The other point I want to make is drawing together the point Greg mentioned earlier about measuring, and this point about the lag, is that just as everyone wants a consistent sales production and sales achievement, marketing, you can't turn the spigot on and off. As Greg mentioned. That's why it's important to measure it and to make adjustments so you can keep the commitment to your marketing plan, so those leads come in and so the sales come in, and it's important to measure it. But turning the market engine off and then turning it back on, the results you're going to see are going to be so far in advance, it's probably not going to help you with your short-term project or with your short-term problem. So I guess the advice is think twice before you cut that spending. Maybe curtail it, but cutting it or turning it off, there's a large ramp-up time to get the marketing engine going again.
Yeah, very difficult to turn on and off, as Al said. Rule number 5, this is the last one that we'll leave you with, and that is not all leads are equal, and this is very important. You have to have a methodology. We actually suggest that you have leads that are both rated and ranked, right? So as they're coming in, there's an agreed to methodology of what is hot, warm, and cold, or A, B, C, and D. And so that's feedback for marketing, whether or not they're getting the right vehicle, whether it's an email with a white paper or a webinar or a podcast or a blog or whatever it is that's doing some kind of lead culling, lead incoming leads. Can you rate those and rank those by some structure so that you're getting feedback as to the quality of the vehicle and the quality of the list, because that's really what you're looking at, the offer and the list. And then handing those off to sales, are they actually working efficiently given they're a very expensive and limited resource in terms of number of salespeople or number of channels? How do you make sure that they're working the most effective leads, the near-term leads, the leads that are most qualified or most likely to close? So rate, rank, and measure their effectiveness. It's important for marketing in terms of justifying its spend. It's important for sales to hold marketing accountable and for sales to be productive.
So in summary, what I think is really important here is looking at these 5 steps or 5 checkpoints, making sure they're covered. The alignment of marketing and sales is really crucial to your long-term business success. While marketing must be measured like anything else in the organization, you really can't take a single element. You just can't look at awareness, you just can't look at leads, you just can't look at revenue that's tied back to a marketing program. You have to look at multiple measures to be able to judge the effectiveness of your marketing campaign. And as we mentioned, the marketing campaign that you have should be continued throughout the year. If you are going to make cuts, augmentation as opposed to wholesale cuts is recommended, because it's very hard to get that momentum and to overcome the inertia of getting the market machine turned on again. If you've liked what you've heard, if you would like more details, please go to www.entrainc.com. Entra specializes in business strategy, sales and marketing alignment, as well as assessment of current markets and new markets for your business success. We thank you for your success. We thank you for your time, and we hope we have the opportunity to work with you to make your business more successful. Thank you.